going to begin the meeting. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for attending our public hearing and regular council meeting of Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. I would like to
in progress.
take a moment to introduce our council. We have Councilmember Fernandez, Councilmember Lublin, Councilmember Ambrose, Councilmember Osnick, I believe, is online with us, Councilmember.
Indeed.
Thank you. We have Mayor Pro Tem Woods and Mayor Ackley, and then we will begin the meeting. I'll turn it over to Mayor Ackley.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone, and if everyone would now please stand, and we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll give the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Pro Tem Woods will now give the invocation.
Dear God, we ask you to preside over this meeting tonight. Help us to act as a unified team, to open our hearts and make fair and just decisions that improve our community. Also, may we come together as a whole with the courage and strength to show kindness and compassion as we collectively work towards the betterment of humanity. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Would the clerk please call roll?
Yes, Ackley,
Here.
Ambrose,
Here.
Fernandez,
Here.
Locke, Lublin,
Here?
Osnick.
Osnick, Wald Lake.
Thank you. Woods.
Here.
Okay, at this time, could we, I'd ask for a motion to excuse Councilperson Locke.
Woods will make the motion.
Second,
We have
Fernandez.
a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. The next item on the agenda, it looks like we have a presentation. We're going to have a oath of office for one of our firefighters.
We'll let the deputy fire chief and the deputy, both of you come up and introduce your team.
Thank you, sir.
I gave up on his title.
Deputy Fire Chief Jason Gonzalez and firefighter Jonathan Chin. Please come on up. I'll let Deputy Chief give you the intro for our new off-probation firefighter. But I would like to note as he comes up and shakes your hand in here in a few minutes, we are happy to announce that our firefighters are in a new updated patch to reflect what you see on the truck and at the station. And this is what, by Memorial Day Parade, we'll have all that out there. So we're very proud of that coming to light. So,
Nice.
all right, DC.
Good evening, Council. Jonathan Chin joined our department in November 2022 as a part-time firefighter. John grew up in Long Island, New York, and graduated from Baldwin Senior High School. He moved to Michigan and attended the Oakland Fire Academy in the fall of 2017 before coming to us. Once he was hired by the Wall Lake Fire Department, John went back to Oakland Community College and completed his emergency medical technician course. And firefighter Chin has shown remarkable progress during his probationary period, and his dedication, resilience, and commitment to the job have been evident from day one. Firefighter Chin has grown more confident in his abilities and has consistently demonstrated a strong work ethic, and he has eagerly taken on new challenges and shown a willingness to learn and improve. And firefighter Chin has not only embraced the physical demands of the job, but has also shown compassion and empathy towards those in need. So his exceptional performance and positive attitude have made him a standout among his peers, earning him the respect of the entire Walled Lake Fire Department. We'd like to congratulate firefighter John Chin.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the Charter and ordinances of the City of Walled Lake, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Walled Lake firefighter according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
All right. Wonderful.
Getting a badge is different than putting out a fire.
Do it again. Congrats.
Welcome to the team.
Congratulations, how exciting.
Can you sign these?
Thank you, council.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, I'd like to open it up for a public hearing for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget appropriations. So at this time, as part of our public hearing, is there anybody in the public that would like to talk about the budget? Have any questions?
So for those that may be listening via our hybrid meeting, if you do have any comment, you can hit *6, or actually pressing *9 will activate the raise hand feature, and then *6 to unmute. But Madam Mayor, I do not see anybody except council member online. And
Okay, doesn't appear that we have anybody that wants to speak at this time during the public hearing. So we will close the public hearing. Now we need we have a request for agenda changes. Anyone have any agenda changes they would like to? Nothing? Okay. Moving right along, audience participation. Anybody in the present audience, would you like to open it up, Jennifer, please?
For audience participation, you do have 3 minutes to speak, and we do ask that you approach the podium to provide your name and address. And again, for those that are listening virtually, by pressing *9 on your telephone keypad, that indicates to us a raised hand feature, and we will acknowledge you, and then you press *6 to unmute. There is no one online, Madam Mayor.
Okay, then we will close the audience participation. So at this time, we'll move into approval of the minutes of our council meeting of April 16th, 2024. Could I have a motion from council?
To approve the minutes
Amber.
last month?
Ambrose will second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Anyone have any comments or anything they want to add, change, or correct on the minutes? Okay, doesn't seem like there is, so roll call, please.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, council report. Is anyone on the council that sits on a board and committee or attends one? Mindy.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Parks and Rec Commission met, and we discussed the farmers market, which is going quite well. We started at the beginning of May over at the Casey Ambrose Safety Campus, and we have new vendors, and it's a very exciting time. So everybody come on out Wednesday mornings. And then the Memorial Day Parade is this coming Monday. So we are going to be going from the Orchard Grove parking lot, the Walled Lake School parking lot on Maple, and then coming down here to City Hall. And at the end of the parade, we will be doing a memorial ceremony recognizing our service members who have fallen. So everybody come on out.
Thank you.
I have a library board update. We did meet last Friday, and the library continues to operate within budget, which is always great. The remodeling renovation is fully completed now. All the carpeted, there was a carpeted area that still hadn't been replaced, and the lights throughout are all new lighting, LED lights, so it looks great. And then August 6th is the millage vote, and we are working with the Friends of the Library group. They'll be aiding us and with a mailing, and then we're also at the library passing out bookmarkers that say to vote and, a lot of the great things that, that we provide, our services and materials that are available. And then we have signs ready to go, so we're getting ready for that, and, we'll keep working at it.
Thank you. Anyone else have a report? Mr. Osnick, do you have anything that you want to say on your committee?
No, we had one small issue that we took care of. It was all taken care of quite nicely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is that all for council report? Okay, mayor's report, the only thing I have that, as well as our Memorial Day parade and our celebration here on Memorial Day, our Masonic Temple that's located at Wallach Drive and Ankle Road will be celebrating their 100 years here in the city. And my understanding is it's going to kind of start pretty quickly after the parade, but that it's going on most of the afternoon. I know I have to attend a little bit later. They're doing a memorial dedication for my father's memory, so it's something that's going to be going on most of the afternoon, and they will have food and different stuff. So anyone that's able to go, I'm sure the Masons would enjoy having you stop by. They have been very active over the 100 years. In the last few years, they've even kind of resumed and becoming more active. So I'd like to see as many as could attend be there. And that's all I have. City Manager.
Mayor, members of the council, I request that you move to receive and file the consent agenda consisting of police, fire, finance, warrant, and the code enforcement written reports. After that, I will ask the Public Safety Director Deputy to come forward and give us an update on several of the outstanding code issues. Some of you already know the answer to the questions that keep coming up. What are we doing? So we're going to touch on that with a verbal report as well. So if I can get a motion from the council.
Ambrose will motion to receive and file.
Fernandez will second.
Okay, any comments? Roll call, please.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Hackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to deal with, have a verbal report on code enforcement, but at the same time, I got a couple of issues in the police matter, so I'm going to ask the chief, who's also the Deputy Public Safety Director, come up and us deal with the code enforcement issues that everybody knows about and where we are on dealing with each one of those that you can remember.
So several code enforcement issues have been resolved or are starting to clear themselves up, but it's always a lengthy process anytime. Obviously, we're looking for compliance whenever possible. Unfortunately, the court process takes months and months to get any action done, so some of these have taken a little longer than we'd like. 14 Mile, the Lighthouse Landings, the fire that took place, I believe, back in January, if I'm recalling right. The landlord has not been cooperative in one bit. Took a partial payout from the insurance and has done nothing with the building. He has received, I believe, to date, 3 summons from our code enforcement officer for blight and has refused to do anything, to a point where the city requested to come in and the outside and the exterior was cleaned up. A 40-yard dumpster was taken away, and there is another dumpster there that the owner finally came in and is starting to show some compliance. I don't expect that to be the silver bullet, as this is the second time there's been a fire in that complex, and it's been painful at best each time. So we have that in court, and hopefully have some more forward movement on it. 121 North Pontiac Trail, there has been a settlement with that. I don't know if it's appropriate to talk about it here or not, but we do have all the tenants out of there, and we have got some of it cleaned up. It's going to be a long road as far as getting it to look the way we'd all like it to look, but at least we don't have tenants in there any longer. in unsafe conditions, and we also do not have chickens outside. So we do have some progress there. DM Motors is another one that we've struggled with. We've asked them, since they bought several of the buildings, to come in compliance with site plans. That also resulted in several infractions being sent out and in the court process, which the owner just chose not to respond at all, to a point where I believe a court order was issued and the city could come in at some point and tow vehicles out there and, I don't know if it's fair to say, to almost do what we need to do to get the site plan in compliance. So we do have several more that we're working on. A letter went out to all the businesses along the parade route. That was just a friendly reminder to all the businesses. So if you either got that.
Scared my sister.
I got a few calls on it, so I thought the language was tame, but maybe we need to revisit that next year. So that was just a reminder that asking all the businesses to clean up and want it to look like the Walled Lake we all do. Our code enforcement officer is working with the businesses also along the trail. Husky Envelope being one of them, which we found out just changed hands. So we don't know who the owners are. That was news to us as of a couple days ago. So we're looking to get some of these sites cleaned up along the trail, as well as council had asked for. We did a report on last year. We have been working on that. The goal is to get it all cleaned up. So I think I touched on them. Anything else?
I'm going to come back to that later, but we'll get, I don't think we need to beat 14 Mile to death. Everybody knows it was really pretty bad and he wasn't responsive. We will be liening properties when we have to clean it up. We will be putting liens against their properties to the extent that they can. That would be Ms. Pest's job, and whatever it's costing us, we will do the cleanup ourselves on several of the properties. We've done it before, we'll do it again. So I'm not going to beat that to death. I do want to touch on a couple of things. Chief, to the extent that you can you give City Council, Mayor, an update on the arrest of that a group of folks who, some of them lived in Wall Lake on Woods Court. It came to our attention some time before. People were complaining, the neighbors were complaining about the activities at the rental unit. It's not like we could go public and say it. It began as an investigation in Troy. There was essentially a probably interstate group stealing vehicles. It looks like over 400 were stolen, and some of those people lived right here in Wall Lake. Our team knew about some activities, contacted the owner of the rental property, who didn't seem to care much about that because they paid regularly. I think that was the response. Anyway, we did have a call from the residents about some activity over there, and they apologized for calling but they thought maybe something wasn't right. Several days later, maybe 3 or 4 days later, the battle tank from Troy showed up in their front yard at 5 in the morning. And I found out that they have there's a video out there somewhere. Somebody got the door video of that whole thing showing up at 5 in the morning. So he was arrested, but I think after it was over, before it was over, they arrested 6. I don't know if they got the other 2. A total of 8 were indicted. 400 units, 400 vehicles. They were focused on high-end vehicles, not the cheaper used vehicles, but the high-end vehicles. LaFontaine was one of the biggest targets. How they would know that 6 high-end vehicles were packed away, something like that, and they all disappeared that night. So the investigation goes on, but our team participated in it, at least to the extent that we're with them across the street. Sometimes it is what you think it is. You know, when you think something's wrong, it is. So they did a good job keeping it quiet until they made the arrest. That was in itself a big deal. Anything you want to add to that? I kind of stole your thunder.
No, that's right. We reported to council, I believe it was last fall, and we're all aware of this has been brutal for us, and we've been working with our partners because obviously this is a massive area, and certainly wasn't us. We had 7 stolen cars in 2022. We had 16 stolen cars in 2023, and we've had 10 year to date this year. We averaged 3 to 5, so we are well above our average.
We may have cut into that issue, though.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, but we knew that when we were telling you how bad it was. We just couldn't tell you that maybe we're going to get to where we needed to be. And thanks to the great, actually the Attorney General's office did a good job packaging it, sent their team down, partnered with the municipalities. So we'll see how the prosecutions go. Here's another report that you need to know about. We've had one of our officers, who's now a lieutenant, our police department. He's been working with DEA as a sworn agent downtown. We're bringing him in from the cold almost 10 years later. He's going to reintroduce himself to his family, but he's coming back soon. You all know who Brandon Jowsma is, so he'll be coming back. And his last case was a pretty big hit, and so give us an update on the last case that he handled, which was just a few weeks ago, a couple weeks back. So.
Yeah. So one of the great things of having a partnership with the DEA, now it stinks losing an officer to that, but having the opportunity to go area-wide, if not multi-state, with the DEA because of the organization that they are. So one of the task force officers is from Southfield. In February 21st of this year, they had three actually, fatal overdoses, and they responded to all of them. And when they do that, they have a process. They take all the electronics, do the things that the federal government does. And through that, April 3rd, they served 3 search warrants on homes and 4 search warrants on storage units. Ended up recovering nearly 2 kilograms of cocaine, which is nearly 4 pounds of cocaine. 4 firearms, one of those a long gun, a fully automatic AK-47, and approximately $25,000 in cash. And the ringleader of that organization has been indicted. Again, it stinks losing an officer to the DEA in that aspect, but for a Walled Lake officer to have that kind of impact on the area is well worth it, because it would be really tough to do what we do in that kind of regional aspect. So really thankful for their for the partnership.
That's it. We're bringing him home, and we'll be sending another one of our officers down, so we're still participating in it. It's been very useful for this community. It's useful for most communities, and I think most communities want to participate, but sometimes they do not. We've been participating from the very beginning, and it has certainly been beneficial to our community. We'll let you know when it's appropriate to tell you which officer is going to go downtown and whether that's going to affect his marriage or not, you know.
Hope not.
So I think that's about it. I want to touch on a couple other things that brought to my attention. GFL seems to be missing a couple of days a week. I don't know if that's become a past practice or they do apologize. They do come back out. Most recent misses, they came back out that evening. Could be for show, but either way, they got picked up. But these are the kind of things you have to deal with when you're not, in the business of picking up garbage. Don't want to be in the business of doing that. If you recall, there was a time when it was so embarrassing for the city and even GFL that we brought Public Works in, and thank goodness for their cooperation. They went over and we picked up condos. We picked up garbage in the Public Works vehicles and dumpsters. So we didn't have to do that, but some of you got missed, and I'm sure you got a phone call or two or a lot. So, and I'm not sure what goes on the internet, but probably wasn't good. This is common whenever you're contracting. It's just the way it is. And sometimes it's that way when you have your own garbage pickup. I've had that experience as well. So I don't know, any comments you want to, bring up as a council members or mayor on garbage pickup? The other one would be the issues brought to our attention about DTE, whatever it is going on with lighting and or outages and their facilities and how they look. That's on the table if you want to talk about it, but we don't control them other than just leverage them a little. So whenever you get a complaint about that, the best we could do is get friendly with whoever we know is a supervisor and have them fix it. But some of you might have gotten complaints about DE. Anybody?
Yeah, those continue. Those continue, and it seems like they're going off when there's no storms around. And the reports are that they're equipment failures. So you only have to drive by their substation on Pontiac Trail, to see what it looks like, right? And maybe that's the equipment and condition that everything else is in.
So is it, I'm not sure what action the council could take other than make it public that you think they ought to be paying attention to their equipment. I think that probably somebody with DTEs watches these meetings, so if the council's aware that maybe they ought to pay more attention to the substation, is that what you call it?
Well, the substation and the transformers throughout the city.
Yeah. That's all I got on that. One more thing. I attended a Western Oakland Transportation Authority meeting today. At that meeting, the presentation from the independent auditors to the board, which I'm a member by vote of council. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give the copy of the audit report to the city clerk. I'm going to ask you to receive and file it. We'll make copies, get it all to you so you can know what their issues are that are identified in the audit. And then I'm going to come back and tell you about their corrective action plan. It seems some of the noise that were made by our team, seems that some of that noise was right because the auditors found deficiencies in material journal entries. They found lack of financial policies and non-conformance with the Uniform Chart of Accounts. Interestingly, there was a deficiency in their corrective action plan when I brought to their attention today. Probably they didn't like that. The corrective action plan has to deal with the identified violations of the law that are identified by the audit. And in that, the action plan states that, they're going to forward the minutes of the meeting and how it got fixed after the meeting of May 18th. May 18th was Friday. I asked them there if they had a meeting Friday, and they did not. And not one on the board, other than myself, had probably read it. Maybe they did and just didn't want to embarrass anybody, but I'm not opposed to embarrassing somebody if they don't pay attention. So the director had to get up and point out, yeah, well, that was a mistake. But I made a motion to approve policies, whatever we need to do for the city of Wall Lake, and also to amend their corrective action plan to correct the errors that are in the corrective action plan. But it tells, corrective action plan is what you have to submit to the local audit division with the treasurers, Michigan Treasury Department. And you only do that if you violated the rules, which is what our team has been saying for a couple of years. So maybe we're going to get it right for now. It's no big deal. There's no real big punishment other than get it right. So I'm going to simply ask you to, move to receive and file it, and then I'm going to get you copies of it, including the action plan. And,
Thank you.
I'm sure that someone is going to be watching this meeting, and maybe they'll get it right next time. Bennett, take a good look at this audit when you get a copy of it.
It sounds like it's material deficiencies.
It's what it says. That's a pretty significant issue. But it's all fixable, but it's only fixable if you have the ability to fix it or if you know how or want to. Secondly, if there's no punishment for doing it wrong, then you continue to do it wrong. We get audits here for the last 14 years, and we've never had that, ever. Ever. So
For the last 14 years, things have been done.
my team has been telling, was telling them over there, from the beginning, look, just clean it up, do it right, and that, it's more, they think it's more important to do something else. I don't know, win the politics, but I get it. You got to win the politics, but you also have to pay attention to your audit. So if you move to receive and file that, we'll move on, and I'll stop talking, and
Do I
we'll
have
be
a
able to get
motion,
out here real
please?
early.
Lublin will make the motion to receive and file.
Second?
Woods will second.
Any further comments or questions of the city manager? Roll call, please.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll be getting you copies of that. I don't expect everybody to jump in the middle of it. Audits are really, really boring, but they're only boring if you don't have an interest in that, you know. I have an interest in all of that. And this validates some of the complaints that our team had from over there, that they weren't quite getting it right. They were offended by it. They found a reason, instead of saying, okay, what can we do better? Apparently, they're working on it, but they had to send a corrective action plan to deal with the violations. And it's not evil, it just means they didn't know how. That's all.
thank you.
I've concluded my report.
Okay. Madam Clerk, do we have any correspondence?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Attorney?
Continuing to move forward on a number of cases in the early stages of litigation. No significant developments to report tonight, but progress is being made. As the police chief has indicated earlier, code enforcement's been keeping me busy in court, prosecuting various code enforcement matters, and we've had some success in getting the orders and judgments that we need to abate some of these longstanding nuisance and blight conditions and non-compliance issues. But there is still some more work to be done there, so that's all I got.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, let me follow up on that, because the lawyer here, our city attorney, has been instrumental in moving ahead on this. When we got back up by court, you know, it's a lot easier to go in and get things done. It doesn't mean they pay attention because he's gotten court orders and they just ignore them. But what that means is we can go in and fix it, and then we lien it. And how many liens have we got so far? Well, that means we're going to get it on the tax roll. But
We have two pending.
two, which two are they?
One is for the 14 Mile Apartments, and the other one is for Fisher Maple next door to our public safety campus.
Have you seen the awning is gone, so it doesn't look so much like a gas station. If we could just get them to put a coat of paint on it. But the people who are using the back are not the people who own it. I'm not sure, you know, and so that's a juggling act, but all of that's gone. I would think probably our superintendent for getting a lot of that done. He not only did he use his great personality, but a little leverage too. Give us a report on 14 Mile one more time about the dumpsters. I don't need about the violations. And that costs how much? A few bucks. There's going to be leaned against the property for 14 Mile.
Yeah, it was $1,500 to have the property cleaned up. It was pretty ironic that I had already left for the day, and Milford Salvage had already dropped off, or they went and looked at the site, and then he called and he said, "Hey, can I use that dumpster that's there?" I'm like, "Ron, that dumpster's full of garbage. It's their regular dumpster that gets picked up every week." And he's like, "Oh, well, I guess I didn't look that close, you know." So I'm like, "All right." Well, then I come into work next morning, here's this big 40-yard dumpster sitting there, and he didn't bring it. So I'm like, "Well, whose is this?" Well, the owner caught wind that we were going to clean up the property because of a caretaker that still maintains, cuts the grass and does whatever. So he called the owner and told him. So he tried to slide his dumpster in real quick, thinking that maybe we wouldn't do our due diligence. So we beat him to it, got it cleaned up. His dumpster's still sitting there, but the whole site is cleaned up and it looks much better. So
we're able to do that now because we get court orders, and I think the city attorney's been instrumental in moving that ahead. Code enforcement issues are moved ahead with the help. Without that, it's a little trickier to go on their property. It's a little trickier to clean it up. In certain cases you can, but the court orders are very, very useful, and he's able to get that done. It's secondhand to him now. We've done a few, you know, so. And what's the other one?
The other one is Fisher Maple, the former gas station next to our public safety campus.
Do we know the name of the owner?
His name?
The name of the property owner is, it's an LLC. Most of the commercial and industrial properties are owned by an LLC, but the guy that's mainly that owns the LLC is in charge of the LLC. His name's Jeff Burgoon.
There you go.
He's moved to Indiana. He's not been really, you know, we had an issue with him a number of years ago as it related to the outdoor storage at the back part. And we did get some compliance with him in terms of getting some screening and some rules and parameters in place for the outdoor storage that was going on there. But he has since kind of moved on, and really he's been non-responsive to our more recent actions that we've filed to abate some of the other code violations that are out there. And we do, and as was indicated, we do get liens. So when, when we get a judgment, we get an order, they don't comply, we can go on the property, we can do the cleanup or the demolition or whatever's needed to bring the property into compliance. And the liens we get, they do get rolled onto the tax rolls, so they basically turn into a tax. So if they don't pay it, that's subject to tax foreclosure. In the case of the 14-mile property, though, because there was a fire and there was an insurance claim, we actually got a sizable chunk, I think it was about $20,000 or so, from the insurance company, which is a certain percentage of the claim that was paid, that we can use and that we can draw against if there are non-compliance issues. So, we've already had to do some work out there, so we'll get paid for whatever our costs are on that property. We'll be able to just take it out of the money, the money that we have that we're holding in escrow. So, and if there's more work to be done out there, if he doesn't fix the buildings and we need to demolish all or part of the apartments, then we'll go ahead, we'll do that. We actually do have a dangerous building action pending in court now, as it relates to the apartment building itself, because it's burned out, it's charred, it's quote unquote a dangerous building because it's a burned out building. So we didn't get much response on that one. If it's more of the same with the dangerous building action, then we'll have that money, that pool of money that we can draw against if we do have to go on and do the demolition ourselves.
Very good. Is that end of your report? We're all set? Okay. There's being no unfinished business, we'll move into new business.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, just a quick moment. The resolution for the first resolution was actually under the public hearing, so we need to back up a step to go back to 2024-15 for the adoption of the operating budget.
Okay.
So your first resolution will be 2024-15.
Okay. Okay. So we need to back up and approve that. Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Okay,
sir,
we
to
have
make
a
the
motion
motion?
to approve the resolution.
Sounds
Yeah.
like John is
John made the motion.
jumping on
Yes.
that online.
Heard him from
Mayor.
above.
Ready to go.
What?
Motion will make that motion. A
Okay.
resolution,
You gotta speak up there, John.
a resolution amending the operating and capital budget appropriation of funds for fiscal year 2023-2024. This being resolution 2024-16.
15.
Okay, so
No,
there's
wait,
15.
wait.
15, John.
15?
Yes,
Yes.
15.
And it's not for 2023, 2024. We're adopting the resolution for next year's budget, which is what the public
Hearings.
meeting or hearing was for.
My bad.
I'll second that.
Okay.
A resolution amending the operating and capital budget appropriation of funds and levy taxes for fiscal years July 21st, 2024, June 30, 2025. This being resolution 2024-15.
Okay,
Support.
Part by Blue.
we have a support then. So
Yes.
any other comments and roll call?
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes,
Thank you.
and thank you for correcting my oversight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we can move on. We have our new business. First item is the budget amendment for fiscal year June 2024.
Bublin will propose the resolution amending the operating and capital budget appropriation of funds for fiscal year 2023-2024, that being proposed resolution 2024-16.
Woods will second.
Under discussion, I would ask Ms. Pesta to give a quick update on what the transfers mean and update on that, so.
Good evening, council. So we've done some changes with the chart of accounts. So during that process, we realized since we've been having WRC oversee the operating and overall maintenance to our water and sewer system, there was no longer a need to have two separate funds for the water capital versus the water and sewer fund. It is still all our reserves for capital projects, but because WRC is the one actually doing the work, we are just moving all of that reserves that we've had on hand over to the sewer and water fund, the 592. So it's just a merging of the two funds just for easier accounting purposes. But it is all still reserves that we are planning on using for capital projects.
Isn't there, moving some money to pay for insurance for WODA as well?
Yes, the second part is for the transportation, the 588 fund. We had an extra year before WODA got their own individual insurance to cover our buses that we had under our insurance. So they're between that lag time of everything going through with the county agreement after that millage pass, we ended up still having to cover those buses for one more year. So we have plenty of fund balance in there. Actually, it's going to be sitting there for a number of years since we no longer actually see the operations or the dispatching services. So we are just using the remainder of that fund to cover for those extra insurances for the bus. But going forward, WODA has that under their own insurance now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. Moving on to the next.
Well,
We gotta vote for that one.
we need a roll call, right?
Yes.
Yep. Roll
Woods,
call.
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Hernandez,
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. We have our next resolution. Someone like to make a motion on the next one, please?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-17, a resolution of the City of Walled Lake authorizing the transfer of the 2023 delinquent water, sewer, and refuse receivables to the 2024 July City of Walled Lake tax roll.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Support, Fernandez.
Okay.
Mayor, can we have Ms. Pesta speak to that issue, what it's about? Because I want to do the setup for one that needs to be mentioned here. So what is that for? What are we doing?
This is for delinquencies in our water, sewer, and refuge services that we have throughout the city. So WRC goes back a couple months, and anything that is past due gets rolled. So we have over $135,000 worth of delinquencies this year going onto the tax roll. It's been relatively high the last 3 years for the city of Walled Lake.
Yeah, can you repeat that amount?
It's been over $135,000.
Thank you.
Do we have like key players that are doing this, or is like repeat offenders?
Absolutely.
Feel free to point out to the mayor and city council what the key players are that are not paying.
It would be one of our downtown businesses at 142 East Walled Lake Drive, known as the Tiki Bar. Continual delinquencies that are continually rolled year after year. We have a couple other in our industrial districts that are delinquent after every single year. I believe one is 1109 Decker. And one other one is we have a unique situation with Wolverine Lake. So one building in particular has their parcel in Wolverine Lake. However, they connected to our sewer. And we had a problem with them a number of years ago. So now we have a delinquency on their sewer, almost $1,000. And it will be interesting to see how I can get that collected, as it's not a parcel that I oversee as a, so.
Let me touch. Go ahead.
prior treasurer wanted to ride the backhoe to shut the sewer off. Are you willing to do the same thing?
That is,
The prior treasurer in Wolverine Lake was difficult to deal with too. I don't know about the current treasurer, but he wouldn't do what should have been done, which is lien them and make us whole. He didn't do that. That's probably the fault of the city itself for not getting concrete agreements and enforceable agreements with the neighboring community. So we got people on our line that we can't use the ordinance. The ordinance provides that we can lien it, but how do you lien a property that's, the ordinance specifically that says you can lien it if it's in the city, but that property is not in the city. So there may be another enforcement way, but for $1,000, you have to decide if it's worth it. But continuing in the future, we probably need an agreement with Wolverine Lake if we're going to provide a sewer or any other activity like that. There needs to be an enforceable agreement. We've had that experience with them on this very same property.
Last year.
Now the ownership has gone away. I don't know if they sold it or whatever, but we can't lien it. So how do we collect it? We sue them. It gets complicated. So it probably is something council should consider, giving the instruction to find a better way, maybe put together an agreement with Wolverine. We don't turn it back on unless they put a deposit up. There may be other options, but this is not the first time it's happened for that very same property.
Do we have other properties that are in the same situation, or is this the only one?
we do have other properties in Wolverine Lake that is on our water and sewer. I ran into an issue for a residential home for the first time last year. Wolverine Lake said that they would collect it for us. Whether or not it ended back into WRC's hands for our accounting purposes, I do not know. I've been waiting to hear back on them.
So is the first one we talked about, is that a residential or commercial?
Commercial. This is the Come As You Are restaurant off of South Commerce Road.
I think for this, there was a home involved too.
There was a home involved last year.
Yeah.
Can we shut these people's water off? Because they're like, I don't pay my water bill, it gets shut off. So why does that not happen with other businesses?
How do you know that it gets shut off? If
Because
you
I make sure his water gets shut off if he doesn't pay. I make sure.
Well, you know, I've never had a fear about it now that I say it.
You probably always pay your water bill, so you really don't know.
That is a true thing. I pay my water bill and I don't let the, I'm sorry, $135,000. I mean, that's a lot of money.
It is.
So
Well, you're referencing the Tiki Bar.
Well,
And
repeat
that is-
offenders.
That is
repeat
a continuous.
offenders.
That's a total.
That's the total. That's not just Tiki
Yeah.
Bar.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
correct.
That's
But
not
Tiki
good.
Bar has a history. We've been to court with them. We've been to mediation, different issues, but same concept, same thing. They just are not real good corporate neighbors. Huh?
We had a water lien with them just a few years ago.
Always.
That was, well,
Been that way for 14 years. It's a business practice. In some cases, they'll say holding up and not paying and paying later. I sat right here in this room with the county treasurer, and he repeated to me an often stated remark, where can I get a loan cheaper than that? You know, like, why don't you pay your taxes? Because it's cheaper not to pay them and use it for something else. And he repeated that, Robert, from the treasurer up at Oak. He said it right in here. You know. They'd say it to him. I'm going, I heard that before. They've been using that for years. But it's a business practice in many cases. In many cases, they just don't pay attention and don't care. And then they scurry at the last moment and want you to take a check from some company that you never heard of or some other entity and this, that, and the other. And then if that check bounces, you wonder where that goes. It gets tricky. So her job is not all that easy.
Doesn't sound easy.
No, it's not.
No, we're trying to fix things here, not chase money. People are supposed to do what they're supposed to, right?
Yes.
They don't always do what they're supposed to do. That's why our code enforcement problems exist. You know, everybody knows they should have cleaned up the gas station way back when, but the city owns some of that responsibility. Our biggest example, your biggest example, is the water tower. That should have been taken care of whenever they closed it up. They didn't, and it sat and rusted because somebody else was going to fix it. And by golly, we did. 13, 14 years later.
It just sometimes takes us a while.
It took a minute. Yeah.
Better late than never.
Right.
You got a motion, I think, Mayor. You got a motion.
I believe we do. We kind of got sidetracked here. Okay, any more council comments on the motion or anyone's comments? If not, let's have a roll call.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Fernandez.
Yes.
Lublin,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we got that one taken care of. I believe now we're on to 2024-18, the West Nile Virus Fund Program. Do I have a motion to approve? Let's get rid of the mosquitoes, yes.
Lublin will make propose the resolution to request reimbursement of eligible mosquito control activity under Oakland County's West Nile Virus Fund Program, being proposed resolution 2024-18.
Woods will second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any comments? Everybody in favor of this one? Let's have a roll call, please.
Fernandez.
Yes.
Lublin.
Yes.
Osnick.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all of our resolutions. We have someplace here in the packet. We have a resignation from our DDA board member, Mr. John Smith. We need a motion to accept the resignation, and then the mayor needs to find a person to fill the position. Do I have a motion to accept?
Lublin will make the resolution, or propose the resolution to recognize DDA Board Member John Smith, being proposed resolution number 2024 I think it's 20? 19? 19.
I'm assuming that would be accompanied with a letter of
Acceptance
thank
of the
you and,
resignation. Yeah, and then the letter, sure.
okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any comment? Roll call, please.
Do we have a second?
No, we did not.
I thought we
Woods
did.
will second.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I thought I heard a second.
That's
on that.
okay. We got it.
Yep. Lublin.
Yes.
Osnick.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Ambrose.
Yes.
Fernandez.
Yes.
Ackley.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay. We are now at council comments. Let's start out with Council Member Ambrose.
Me first?
Fooled you, didn't I?
Sure did. Usually start left to right.
Always me.
Most excited for our Memorial Day parade. Again, just as the weather continues to break and gets better and better, it shows the reason why Walled Lake is such a great community. So make sure you get out, enjoy the Memorial Day parade.
Okay. Thank you. Let's not forget Mr. Osnick, even though I'm not sitting here looking at him. Any comments, sir?
No, today I'm just going to be nice and quiet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Lublin.
I'm excited about the Ladd Road reconstruction. That's gonna be a great project. It's gonna really complete all of our main roads everywhere are going to ingress, egress into and out of our downtown, and our city will be up to par. And got some great events coming up, the fireworks in June, the parade this Monday, and looking forward to all of that. It's a great time of year.
Thank you. Councilmember Fernandez.
Just want to say thank you to everybody and all the hard work that the city's putting in. The city looks great. The blight ordinance, as they're working on that, has really made an impact. You can drive around and you're not seeing dumpsters open and, you know, just garbage all over. So it's been really nice, and I really want to say thank you to all of you that are working on that. And so just looking forward to seeing everybody at the Memorial Day Parade and the fireworks.
Thank you.
Mayor, one other comment. I just want to give a shout out to our DPW, because our parks really look great everywhere, our city campus, and you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Corner to corner, I mean, it does. It looks
Yeah, for
beautiful.
sure.
Everything.
We got a new park, since you mentioned it, almost a new park, Lineal Park. If you've, I know each of you have gone by the Big Boy project 10 times over the weekend, and it's all leveled up and ready to go. But even as they're doing that and getting ready to put the infrastructure in, DPW was down the backside of the trail. What we took pictures of was so unsightly, and they've cleaned out the area from essentially the station there when you enter all the way back. It's all the way behind Subway. If you go to Subway, that's all been cleaned up, and it's almost ready for picnic tables if anybody wanted to do that. But that's the beginning of cleaning up the trail. You all remember that we took pictures of how bad it was when I came many years ago. It was the airline trail. There wasn't any walking, but there were refrigerators and yeah, oh yeah, they would dump tires and all that. So DPW is the one that cleaned that up. The people behind their buildings didn't clean it up. Some of that area that's ours, the easements and all that, they cleaned it up. And as we work and get time, we'll inch our way down, maybe get the whole trail one day. But take a look at the back of the trail. If you're not walking it, make a special trip and see what it would be, I think, Subway all the way down to Pontiac, a cleanup. Even under the tower, the frame tower and all of that was cleaned out at the beginning. So if we can get the businesses to do their part, and that so it's not so unsightly when you're going down. I think Burger King needs to do some work. I don't want to mess with Burger King until they're up and running really well, Had another burger in there the other,
I'll go eat a couple more burgers.
Whopper. I got to go get a Whopper with cheese, no mayo, and chicken fries, right? So I went in there, and their whole team was there. These are people from the entire franchise group, and they were all in there working because I guess they're trying to use that to get it going. It's still the old Whopper house. But the Whopper still tastes just as good, and, if you want a McDonald's, that's fine, but the Whoppers but they haven't moved to the back to clean it up yet. So if they get back in the back and clean that up, and even the people who, the old Taco Bell, which is still functioning, we can get them to clean all that up. So it does become a draw. Perhaps coming down the trail, they can get invited to some of those businesses. And that's what we're trying to do, is clean up that end of the trail so that maybe they're invited into the new Taco Bell, and your business is looking really great from the back too. You got you busted me on Saturday. When was that? I'm driving around thinking I'm on Sunday. When was that?
I think it was Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, he sent me a picture. I'm overlooking way back over there, and he busted me. So, oh yeah.
But and there's no building there. It's quite easy now.
Yeah, now it is.
Straight view.
Yeah, but you were working too, so I'm proud of you. So were the sisters. But go take a look at it. That site's going to come. It's going to, when the subcontractors get in, or whoever who's doing the underground work, they're set up. They got all the pipes. They got all kind of stuff. So it's going to go fast and furious. So we're pleased with that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it seemed timely.
Great.
That's okay. Were you finished?
Yes.
You didn't have anything else?
I wanted the shout out to go to.
Nothing else you want to add? Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Woods.
Did you have one or no?
No, just messing.
I wanted to second the comments that everybody had mentioned prior. The ordinance enforcement, you can see it's elevated, it's taking root, right? We're getting things done, but the team's getting it done together, and as I drive home from work every day, seeing, the work that's being prepared for the Memorial Day Parade, right? So the team's getting that together. So, that's a common theme that continues here. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Come out Thursday. We're going to do a dry run. I think Thursday morning, DPW, as always, are going to do the setup out front. We're going to clean it up and get it going. We're going to do a dry run. We didn't mention it too much earlier, but we have our own honor guard. Consisting of police and fire, the deputy fire chief and the public safety director deputy had put together a team. They're going to have their special patches. They're going to do it. Those old guys from VFW won't be here. They were getting a little old, long in the tooth. Some of them were like almost as old as me. And they were out front trying to hold up the flag. So we got our own team going to do it, and we're going to do that parade here, and we're going to honor the fallen and not those people who seek to get the valor of those who's gone. I just don't like stolen valor, folks. We got a few of them around, but we're going to do it at home. And so we need you all there. We're going to get some pictures. Those of you who can get out on the parade, we get some pictures that day. We always put the pictures on our water quality report, and that's Miss Sears will be doing that. So let's get some pictures, if you break out your best polo that says council member on it. The mayor has a brand new one, I know, because I gave it to her Sunday.
Yes.
White is what that's the memo, white.
White's the color.
White's the memo. We're ready to
Whatever
go home.
color slacks you want to do, that's fine, but you gotta have a white top. With your name on it, of course. Okay, and the mayor, I guess I can only, echo what everyone is saying, but kind of a funny but personal experience. My older sister, who also, she wasn't born in Wall Lake like I was. I'm the only thoroughbred one of the family, but lived most of her life here. Her working life was spent out on Ladd Road at Excello and Pure Pack, and actually started over here next door at Jebco. Retired and moved up north, and she came home, 3 or 4 times a year. If I'd go out of town, she'd dog sit and all this. Well, the last 3 years she's had a stroke, and I brought her home, but I don't think she really paid a whole lot of attention. Well, this trip, I took her on the scenic route on our way in, and it was just, wow. She couldn't believe all the changes in the city and how great it looked. Very sad that the water tower was gone, but you got to understand, that was an icon for her employment. So, but she did admit it got looking pretty bad. But when you hear somebody like that who hasn't been around the city but worked here, grew up here, and knows what it was really like, it really shows what we've done, what staff has done, council, and everyone, and the business people, and the citizens. I mean, a lot of people are just doing so much with their homes, and it just looks great. There's pride in Wall Lake, and it means a lot to me. This has always been my home, and it is my home, and I'm proud to be here. So with that, if no one else has any comments, I would ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's go home and we'll see you Sunday.
Monday.
Monday. I'm gonna be here Sunday for some reason.